anything else. And we're talking about common sense control, what allows it. Tyranny, tyranny in real time. Lord help. This right here, we need some comprehensive charge control. That's what we need on here. I hope that battery's fully charged. Try to keep all my, when you're a prepper, you try to keep all of your batteries charged at all times, but you know, there's a whole lot of things you try to do but never fully accomplish. And so we do these early morning lives on Facebook and YouTube to kind of keep them logged in, because you can't really do that on TikTok where our main base is. You can download it and re-upload it, I guess, but yeah, there's all kinds of things subject to the trolls where you can't do what you want. It might get you blocked for something stupid that you didn't do. Put the ReadyWise hat on today because my Alabama hat has become my work hat. It's about seen better days. It's covered with a line from the court, from the mine. There we go. Now we're ready. Picked an easy title today. I gotta fix that Facebook one. I'm gonna have to. We got this whole charge system set up, and then you plug the thing in. See if this thing's charging. Alright, now we're in business. Alright, let's get it going. Here we are, going live. TikTok's up. I'll share it out. Beanie. I hope Beanie can be here, but at the same time, it's real early and I don't want her having to be wore out and tired. She's been watching them grandbabies lately. I may be going without a mod today. I did that yesterday. You never know what you're gonna see here. You never know what they're gonna throw at you. There's always somebody. Big John. Him in there. Let's see here. It's real early too, so you don't never know who's gonna show up. Alright, got 12 in here already. So we like to discuss news and preparedness issues. We thought we were done talking about gun control, but they can't let you, get done with gun control. Talking about gun control because then we have another shooting in a hospital. Now, I don't believe in gun control. I don't believe in gun control no more than I believe in ghosts and apparitions. I just don't believe it's going to work because they got meth control and that ain't working. It just gives the cops the ability to prey on drug addicts. I know how it goes. Is America heading toward a civil war? There's some of the highlights today. All it takes is one brave man. It was like John Lovell. How to win a gunfight. Uvalde police held back Border Patrol officers from stopping shooter. I mean, every time you go back to this Uvalde case or any of the last few shootings, gun control is using 2 hands. The media, you packing a big gun. Wow, I'm in Michigan. So Michigan's actually got some fairly lax gun laws as far as we got shotgun over there. He has woke up. He usually asleep. Do you want out? Are you gonna be good? I'll be chewing up on everything now. All right. Hey Montana, good to see you. All types of guns should be available for everyone. I agree. What's funny is we used to have full access to fully automatic firearms and we never had this stuff happening. You did have bank robberies and there were people that were shot, but they would as likely use a shotgun or a 45 as they did a Tommy gun. You didn't have them walk in and just start, killing mass amounts of people. So they were able to pass laws against that. And then as they progressed, they wanted to take more and more freedoms. Tyranny's real. And there's never been a nation that has been overrun with tyranny to have access to firearms. The framers of the Constitution wanted people to have the access to have the ability to be as well armed as your average. James Madison, he was one of the framers of the Constitution. His thought, as well as many of his contemporaries, was that the average American citizen should be as well armed as the average infantryman. That's what these laws were put in place for. They did have understanding of what was to come. They themselves had just won a war with a weapon that was well more advanced than their enemy's weapon. Their enemy was still using smoothbore muskets. They were using rifled barrels. So they understood that guns would progress, firearms would progress. They even had puckle guns around that time. And see, that kind of is straight men between 18 and 21 shouldn't be able to own guns. They're usually the issue. That's kind of not true. I mean, one of the last shootings was performed by a person of color. Wasn't a white person. There's just so many strange things that have happened. So they were trying to pass these bills well before these shootings, and then within 2 weeks we have 3 shootings, and they're not just what you would look at as what has become the norm as far as a shooting. You have a racist shooter. Then you have a school shooting where children are shot, and then now you have a hospital shooting where patients and people were shot. And so that in itself is just very that's very coincidental. In 2 weeks time, mass unalives. Not sure how many, because they have different ways of looking at a mass shooting. A mass shooting would be a drive-by shooting in Chicago, where there's heavy restrictions on firearms. You're not. Here's the thing. Unless Joe Biden um, does an executive order, we're not going to see a law. We're not going to see a law passed where guns are taken. They're not going to. If they do a red flag laws, we've seen how red flag laws work out. We had it was a 60 some odd year old man that was approached. Hey Eric, how you doing? We had a 60 some odd year old man. His relatives called the police. Police showed up at his house. He had a firearm laying on the table by the door. This was a red flag law. They say what they're there for. He picks the gun up and they shoot him dead right there. So, I mean, I see this one side of this gun argument. These same people complain about the police. All you hear is how corrupt the police are. And trust me, I know there's good cops, but I know there's bad cops. I've seen corrupt individuals. All right. So the same group of people complain about the police and how corrupt police are, how bad police are. The same group are the first ones to call out the military if they do anything out of sort. But yet they want to hand all their control to this third party. It blows my mind. I've talked to leftists that are against gun control. I've talked to centrists that are against gun control. I've talked to people of different races that are against gun control. I've talked to people of different financial brackets that are against gun control. In the end, yeah, there's some bad things happen with guns, but there's a lot worse things that will happen to you as the individual if you do not have firearms. During the pandemic, you can basically see the places where tyranny was enacted during the pandemic upon people. No, it will not reduce death, period. That's just a lie. It is a lie and a talking point. It is a lie. It will not reduce death. There likely will be more death through stabbings, robberies, burglaries. The only people that are going to follow these gun laws are going to be law-abiding citizens, and they're not the ones you have to worry about. I think we need to look and see how many people die, and we're talking unnatural deaths in every country. Ones with gun laws, ones without. How many people die per year from an unnatural death? It's not going to stop death. It's not. I mean, do drug laws stop drug use? No. Do drug laws stop people? Have all these laws that we seen Trump pass to stop drug use, to stop the opioid crisis? Has it stopped the opioid crisis? Has it stopped people from dying from overdosing on fentanyl? No, because in the end, people will have access if they want it. I mean, yeah, it's always a black market. It's just like these people that talk about communism and how great communism will be. There's always a black market. Right now, there are people in China that may not be considered rich with money, but they have a black market. They are probably dealing in crypto. They're probably dealing in a number of things. They have stockpiles of things that the other people don't have. I mean, that's greatly depicted in the Hunger Games of how things like that work. When people have the ability to put their hands on things and obtain them, they will obtain them if they want them. Well, I want to know, have you talked to people of trauma and the aftermath of guns? I mean, I've talked to people. I live in an area where there is a lot of gunfire daily, where people have been held at gunpoint, where people have used guns to protect themselves from people trying to break in their house. Have you talked to people that used firearms to protect their houses? The Hunger Games, most novels are based on real world studies. Oh my Lord. Is this person, this variant sorceress, are they not understanding? Well, you may be a trauma victim of guns, but let me ask you this: would you have been that trauma victim had you had your own firearm to protect yourself? Yes, and if we had resource officers and teachers that were trained with firearms, that would have went extremely different. If we took security seriously at our schools, if we took it seriously, there would be armed people at our schools, just like they're at our banks, just like we have guarding our money as it's being transported. We care more about our money than we do our children. If you are arguing gun control instead of security, then you care more about your money than you do your children. It's simple. If you care more about gun control, controlling your average citizen, taking away their rights, more than you care about the actual security at schools, you care about money more than you do kids. Why? Because you will gladly put your money in a place that has secured and that is a secure facility that is secured with firearms. You will put your money in that place, and you will trust them more than you will trust someone to protect your children. Our children need security because the gun laws will not stop gun violence. The gun law, especially in a country like America, this is not the UK, this is not Australia, this is not Canada, this is not one of these places where where they can just do a gun buyback or they can do a gun confiscation. We have over 400 million guns out there that they know of. That's not counting the guns, the many guns that people have made at home. If you care more about ignorant gun talking points than you do about protecting the slaughtered, think about that. These are ignorant talking points. We talk about gun control like it is a magic potion, like it is a magic spell. Bibbidi bobbidi boo, the guns disappeared. That does not happen. That does not happen. Mexico has one gun store. Now, people could argue, well, all those guns that the cartel get come from America. You tell me where they got belt-fed machine guns. You tell me where they got armored vehicles with these machine gun mounts on them. We literally seen El Chapo's son take control of a town and had the Mexican military, that leadership there of the Mexican military surrendered to him because he took over a town. Criminals will have guns. People that want firearms will have them. Why do I know this? Because there are laws against people having firearms that have drugs in their possession. And I have seen many of them still have firearms. I've seen those same people make black powder. I've seen those same people do these things. And they're not going to get mine. I think we need to understand this. If you're a troll, you can come in here and you can spew talking points, but it will not change reality. It will not change reality. You got to understand. Your talking points, if they become laws, they are not magic potions. You will not get rid of gun control. You will not take guns from most American citizens. I'm just telling you. You have literally, why? Because you've literally got to have more men with more guns to come in and take communities' firearms. And what will happen, these communities, there's a lot of communities that are full of like-minded individuals, and they will fight back. They have openly said they'll fight back. They feel justified in fighting back. The Constitution actually gives them the legal justification to fight back. They will do it. Am I saying I myself will do it? We'll see. Time will tell how things are enacted. But I will not give up my firearms. I'm not going to bring them to somewhere. I'm just being honest. How you doing, Walker? Good to see you. I don't know many men that will give up their firearms. Usually, when you see someone coming on to onto social media and they're beating a gun to pieces, they've had this gun for so many years. It's just an actor. It's just somebody that went out and got their hands on an AR-15, or more than likely, I would not be surprised if it's an airsoft rifle. And they don't know the laws because a lot of them go to cut the barrels off. And short barrel rifles, if you don't got the right licensing to own a short barreled rifle under 16 inches, you're going to get arrested for that. That's a criminal offense. That's a true Italian male. People with less gun, states with more, no, that's not true. I thought you said states with less gun laws have higher rates of gun death. That's not true. That's not true. I thought I got that mixed up as early in the morning. States with less gun laws have higher rates. That's not true. You look at Washington, D.C., they had some of the most comprehensive gun control laws, and they had some of the highest murder rates in the country. They had some of the highest shooting rates. Chicago, any urban setting that we have seen that has high gun restrictions, has the higher gun violence than anywhere you're going to look at that has lower gun violence. I mean, Alabama does not have no big long list of gun deaths. We have some fairly, and here's the thing about what Italian Mel's talking about. He does not tell you. 2/3 of those statistics are suicide. 2/3 of those statistics are suicide. Meaning these people, if they want to take their life, they will do it one way or another. 2/3 of all gun deaths that happen in America, 2/3 of all gun deaths that happen in America, because they use what they can to inflate the information to get the results they want. 2/3 of gun deaths in America are suicide. Meaning these people will hang themselves if they want to. How do I know this? Because my neighbor hung himself with clothesline. One of my friends hung himself with his underwear in the jail cell he was in. These things happen. If people want to take their lives, they will take their lives. Maria. Hey, Beanie. I just not realize you was here. We've been talking a lot about gun control, and I'd like to get off of it, but it just seems to be the headline, the preparedness. We are preppers. Now, I don't take political standings on many things, but when it comes to religious freedom and when it comes to firearms, these are the places I stand and will not budge. And the Second Amendment makes room for the First. It protects the First Amendment. If you don't have your Second Amendment, you don't have your First Amendment. I don't care what you say. You can talk about these countries that have less mass shootings. They're all talking points. Gun laws, in the end, they will not change anything as far as death. They will not, in America, basically, we were founded on guns. And there are many guns. Poor Christian victims. I don't know. I think that you have poor liberal victims. I mean, all you hear is their victimization. I'm not telling you it's sad you're going to make these laws and take my guns. I'm just saying basically you're not getting them. You will not get them. I will not give them up, and there are many, many people that will not give them up. simply because we see the tyranny on the left, as well as the center right, the rhinos, your neocons. We see the tyranny. The only reason you want to take firearms, or the only reason your elected officials want to take firearms, is because they're power hungry individuals. Now, more people die. My friend Walker Stagg is bringing up a good point. More people die from DUI and texting and driving than gun violence. And we already have laws on the books that should have magically prevented these things from happening. I don't understand why they're still happening. We have laws on the books. We have laws on the books. There's probably more people that die from drug overdose than mass shootings and gun death. But we magically think we're going to make a law. Laws do not fix anything. And I don't believe we should have the drug laws we have. I think they made things worse, just like Prohibition did. Prohibition never stopped. The Prohibition laws never stopped the consumption of alcohol in America. It actually made it worse. It made firearm use worse. It made violence. The thing is about the gun issue, how you'll never win with gun laws. Guns enable all other crime. Guns enable all other crime. But they also enable all other law enforcement of the those that commit the crime. Guns are involved in every level of everything. You're not going to get rid of the guns. There'll always be guns that the law enforcement have that people will be able to take, because law enforcement cannot always pay attention to what's going on. There will always be those guns that are not on a registry. I mean, you do not have a national registry for for firearms, and that means you will not be able to confiscate the guns. This is not Great Britain. This is not Australia. You're not going to have a massive turn-in of guns. I mean, they've been doing gun buybacks for years. They've been handing out Walmart gift cards for guns for years. Yep, Wigglesworth, you're exactly right. I mean, we want to turn over our gun rights for protection from a third party that has proven itself in many ways to not be able to functionally take complete control of the realm of guns and protection. I want people to think about that. And the left inflates this problem even more in their talking points. You know, they believe all police are bad, but we want to hand over all of our control to these people. Now, at this point, you have the trolls that come in. We have troll farms, people that just come in and they spout talking points to stir people up. So if you're in the comments and you're becoming enraged by some of these talking points that people are putting, you have trolls. And I'm going to give you exactly what some of the trolls here are going to say. What, because we disagree with you? Yeah, we're from a troll farm? They're going to say crazy things like that. That basically shows, you know, Italian male is probably someone from another country, and he may be being paid to do this, just to stir this up. He may be a bot. A lot of people talk about Russian bots. Well, there are our enemies out there that have created systems to operate to stir up social problems. So if you're becoming enraged right now because of people that come on and see, I'm not a troll. That's another common thing. I'm not a troll. Not a troll here. Yes. Troll. May not be working for a troll farm, but he or she or they, whatever their pronouns may be, whatever Italian male's pronouns may be, because Italian male may have male in their name, but they may not be currently identifying in those pronouns because they may have changed. So I'm going to give him that. Oh my gosh. California? Yeah. Yeah, right. Well, you tell me, an Italian male lives in California. You tell me how well your gun laws are working. I talk to Californians all the time that don't follow those gun laws. Wigglesworth. A majority of Americans do agree with me. You show me where a majority of Americans don't agree with me. You give me those statistics, Wigglesworth. I didn't ask what your national descent was. I was just mentioning that Italian male may not be. You may not identify as male currently because that changes. I'm not going to repeat that, Walker. They did, Texas. They did divide us. Oh, that's a lie. That is a lie. They're not lower. That's the statistics. The statistics that they're giving you to back up their gun control laws. Yeah. Well, I don't know many Republicans that go with your version of gun control. Italian male. He, she, they, it. By, to, Q, whatever you identify as. Your pronouns don't anger you? Okay, that's good. Do you have a certain pronoun that you want to be used out of the 60 pronouns that, or 66 pronouns that we have, that we currently have available to us? So you identify as a straight white male. Okay, that's good. User 9877, what have you been saying? A former gun owner. No, most don't disagree with me. I'm telling you. I'm just telling you. I talk to people that vote liberally. They don't want guns controlled. I talk to people in urban areas. They want their firearms. Gun nuts will always ignore my comments about how to help. I didn't see your comments, but I am going to go back and look at them. So, 3 ways to help. Raise age to 21, stricter background checks, close sales loopholes. All right. So, we had teenagers. We had people under teenage age that had access to firearms for centuries. We did not have these issues. We send 18-year-olds to fight for their country and die. They even allow them to operate as law enforcement with firearms, and their parents have to buy their guns for them. If a young man is legally required to apply to put his life on the line for you, he or she or they should have the ability to own a firearm. Plain and simple. They should have the ability to drink. They should have the ability. We're not perpetual children. 21 does not, it's 4 more years. It does not change anything. If that man is legally a tax-paying adult, they should have access to firearms. It's the training. It's the use of these things that have changed. We do not have widespread education. We do not have widespread understanding of firearms. A lot of your issues that happen are kids that are playing video games. And I'm not going to simply point video games as the problem. What I'm saying is that's their only concept of firearms. Why do we keep seeing these young men that have played a lot of video games and that has been their only understanding of firearms being the perpetrators of these issues? Stricter background checks are not going to change this. I mean, I go through a very strict background check. You cannot own a firearm if you cannot pass a background check. There are no strict background checks that are not in effect. The ATF and the FBI handle these things. Every firearm I buy at a store, I go through a background check. If you have a felony, you cannot buy a gun. If you have been involved in Um, Spousal abuse. If you've been involved in like a convicted of assault, there are so many restrictions on why you can't buy a firearm. So you can lie on all of those things, on all those questions on that paperwork, but if it's on your record, they're going to find it in the background check. And that background check, it's pretty comprehensive as it is. So you can't, the background check thing, that's just a talking point. Again, it's just a talking point. It's just something that you say that you don't know anything about. And I don't care if you're a former gun owner or not. Maybe you bought your guns before the background checks. All I've ever been able to buy are firearms on background checks. All right, now closing sales loopholes. There are no sales loopholes that they can control. Yeah, Walker. I've done talk with these folks. They've got their minds set on a certain talking points. They don't listen. But the loopholes. I can sell person to person, and the police will never be able to be controlled. Why? The lone wolf scenario. The lone wolf scenario is this: you cannot control people. You cannot stop there's no way to defend against the lone wolf, because you have no way of understanding what that lone individual is thinking, what they're planning, what they're going to do. And it's the same thing when this guy's deciding to sell a firearm, pass a firearm on, you're not going to be able to stop it. Again, Mexico has one gun store, extensive gun laws, and people still own firearms. The cartels still, the criminals still get the firearms. And the people are the ones that have to deal with the repercussions of only criminals being able to own guns, because criminals do not care about your laws. Your laws will not change anything, because when you look at what is, and this, nobody's ignoring your talking points, my friend. It's just they're old talking points. Know that? Okay. User 986. Did you not listen to the beginning of this? We do not have access to belt-fed machine guns, yet the cartels still have military-grade belt-fed machine guns. You cannot say they bought those from Texas, because Texans do not have the access to fully automatic belt-fed machine guns. Most gun stores don't have fully automatic belt-fed machine guns, but yet the cartel, one of the cartels, El Chapo's son, took control of a town. He had MRAVs with mounted belt-fed machine guns. Criminals that were legally not supposed to have literal military-grade firearms, took a town, and the Mexican military surrendered to him. So your talking points, you've got to educate yourself. You've got to educate yourself. If you're going to come in here, the reason people are ignoring your comments is because they're old comments. Nobody ever said you should have access to automatic, but automatic's not hard. Automatic's not hard. I mean, you can 3D print, and that's the thing. The advent of 3D printers has eliminated all gun control. I'm telling you that now. You can make as many laws as you want. The advent of 3D printers and automated milling machines has eliminated the ability to control firearms. It's just writing on paper now. There is the Ghost Gunner and the Ghost Gunner 2. You can make as many laws as you want, but you cannot stop people from putting code into machines, computer-driven machines. Right now, and you can say the European gun laws are doing so much stuff, but there are gun clubs, there are underground gun clubs in Europe right now, all across Europe, that are making 3D, they are the ones driving 3D printed firearms. They have fully automatic 3D printed firearms. You can make all the issue, like right now they're trying to put into effect laws, because they finally realized these aftermarket parts, like we can 3D print Glock lowers, and there are so many Glock parts out there that are in circulation. That itself makes gun control impossible. Because you can 3D print a gun, take part kits from Glocks or 1911. And the 1911 part kits, they've been around for way longer than Glock part kits. And so you cannot get rid of the part kits. So we can 3D print, we can 3D mill these lowers, AR lowers, fully automatic M16 lowers, there's your fully automatic. M16's your fully automatic. We can literally 3D print these. But even prior to this, in Pakistan, you have a town that their motto is more sons, more guns. And you see children sitting on dirt floors loading bullets with slugs and powder. You know, they're basically reloading ammunition. You have their fathers sitting in little shanty shacks, lathing out pistols and rifles and submachine guns and short rifles. Fully automatic. A lot of them are fully automatic. And Pakistan's got gun laws. Now, they did, after Vice done the article where the man went out to this town and showed it and put it online for everybody to see, yeah, you got a lot of stuff going on that most of y'all do not realize. You think words on paper will stop things, but it never has. You have the underground 3D printing gun clubs in Europe. You have in a lot of Middle Eastern countries, you have just huge stockpiles of Soviet era weapons. Also in a lot of Asian countries, you have that. It's just a fantasy. And I hate to burst your bubble. I hate that some of y'all think I'm not reacting to your talking points, but your talking points are old talking points. Your talking points are based on old world beliefs that Democrats have drilled into people for years. They'll never happen. They're convoluted, inflated, and stipend facts. Texas, 400 million. No, I'm a pretty responsible gun owner compared to others. Italian male. It's just you're very uneducated to the gun debate and argument. Words on paper will never stop bullets from barrels. Always remember that. Words on paper will never stop bullets from barrels. They will not stop the government's bullets from taking you down when you do not agree with them and you try to protest and they want to run you down with tanks, like in Tiananmen Square over in China when they run over the college students. Here's the reality, Italian male. Have you ever seen a criminal that follows the laws? Have you ever seen anybody break a law? Have you ever broken the speed limit just because those numbers are on that sign? Only law-abiding citizens follow them. They do not stop car wrecks. They do not stop DUI. They do not stop drag racing on the street. I mean, I see kids drag racing on the street around here all the time. Not for anarchy, but the more laws you pile on the citizenry, the less they care. It's like when in the workplace, you have a lot of college-educated management that have turned these workplaces into nightmares to work in. They believe that you can solve everything with words on a paper. So they have tons of procedures that everybody just marks things down. I've seen it. OSHA safety rules. People still go out on the factory floor and do what they got to do to get the job done. And despite what, college educated company officials believe, even the management participates in this and pushes this. See, words on paper never stop actions from hands and feet. Words on paper don't stop bullets from barrels. And I mean, you got to understand that because Italian male, your country of origin, Italy, had one of the worst terrorist attacks / mass shootings, that's ever been seen. They were not supposed to own those AK-47s, but yet they had them. They were probably old Soviet stock weapons, and the bullets were probably old Soviet stock munitions. I've asked 3 times now. So repeal all laws of any kind. I'm not saying repeal them. I'm just saying they don't work. Why waste our money and our time? And why take rights from the law-abiding citizens? We keep doing that. We had our basic framing of laws. You got your basic laws: don't steal, don't murder. You got these laws. They should have stopped these things, but they didn't. I'm just saying, you're not going to take my firearms. You're not going to stop people from owning firearms. You're not going to stop violent crime. If they don't have a gun, they'll do it with something else. It got so bad in Europe, they were using acid. They were using acid to attack people. You can't stop people from owning acid. Lord help. If you take guns, let's say you take guns, you take knives, you take vehicles, people still hang themselves. And 2/3 of the gun violence, the gun death in America, 2/3 now, mind you, 2/3 of that are suicide. You will not stop that. You will not stop that. I'm not worried because I'm never giving up my firearms, but I will educate you past your fantasy. You will see gun violence. You still see gun violence in California. It isn't. I don't know what statistics you're reading, but California is not one of the. There's statistics they count, and then there's statistics they don't want you to know about because they got to push their laws, and it's extremely liberally controlled. I know plenty of people in California that didn't obey those firearm laws, and they have not registered AR-15s. They still have 30-round magazines that do not have things in them. Enough of this total ignorance. I agree, Screaming. I agree. I'm trying to help y'all, but people don't want to listen. Knife to throat, right area, instant death. Knife to right area, in your leg, instant death. Rock to head, I've seen it cause instant death. I want to explain something to you. Guns don't hold a candle to explosives. Any of these countries that you see comprehensive gun control, they never stopped mass bombings or bombings at all. They've never stopped people using their automobiles to kill mass amount of people. Yeah, the groin and under the arm, you're exactly right, Benny. You know your anatomy. You'll never stop people from killing mass amounts of people if they want to. Yeah, rock the head will kill you, Iro. It will kill you. If you get a big rock and you bust somebody in the head, yep. It'll kill them. As a young man, his death was ruled, he died from being shot here recently, or here in the last decade, because he was bashing somebody's head on the sidewalk, and they ruled that as self-defense because he could have killed that guy from bashing his head into the sidewalk. And this 6 foot tall kid, I think 6'5", they were playing on the motion, showing his picture of him when he was in like middle school. Get everybody all hyped up. But here's the thing. Right now, I could walk into any of your houses, your cleaning closets, and I can make something chemically that would kill just as many people. You could too. You cannot stop people from killing people with laws. You cannot stop. And why should I suffer because of your feelings? Why should I suffer because of your feelings? Why should I not be able to go out and shoot firearms at the range? Why should I not be able to have a firearm to protect myself? Tell me that. But I got to go to work. Y'all have a good one. Y'all have a good one.